And we are live. Good morning, everyone. It is Thankful Thursday. You are listening to Saving Money Unapologetically with your host, PG. That is me. Good morning, or good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you may be, whatever part of the world you are tuning in from. Hope that you are all doing well. We have a lot going on, folks. This is your host, PG, with Saving Money Unapologetically. And I'm coming on briefly. I have a couple of short vlogs, podcasts, whatever you want to call it, videos that I am going to be doing consecutively. As I finish one, I will be uploading another one. But this one is hitting home to where I reside in the county of Rockdale. Conyers, Georgia is the city, which is a suburb to the Atlanta proper area. I'm about 35, nearly 40 miles from downtown Atlanta. And as you can see on the screen, this was a public safety message that came across my phone. And this one actually was, I think this one was yesterday. I've gotten about 4 or 5 today. Well, actually, not today, but yesterday and the day before. And from, actually, it started on Sunday morning. And today is Thankful Thursday. But they want you to shelter in place right now from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. each evening until this thing clears. It does smell like chlorine, which it is, I'm sure. The EPA hasn't truly, to me, released a thorough statement as to, by now, what chemicals that they have tested as far as in the air, and as much as the percentage of those chemicals with the air quality, and what chemicals were found to be significant in the air. And as you can see, I put on the screen danger. But the public safety message was Rockdale County alert. There is a gas cloud, and it is moving across the county, changing patterns due to the weather. And we have had sunshine. We've had very mild winds, 2 to 4 miles an hour at best. And it has been sunny. We really haven't had any rain since last Friday, nearly a week ago. But in the daytime, and if you know anything about molecules and different chemicals, and as the rays of sun break down those molecules and things that are perhaps in the air, that helps. But when night falls, you no longer have the heat or the sun rays to help break down or break apart those chemicals to disperse them, to make them lighter, or to get rid of them, basically. So at night, because Biolab's plant is still smoldering, basically, even though there's really no fire, but because of all of the amounts of water and the activities that have been taking place on a daily basis since Sunday, early wee hours of Sunday morning, you have the after burn off, or the smoldering burn off, or the smell, or just the chemicals reacting to each other as they try to move things around and try to get rid of the debris that is left. The clouds are still forming and the gases are still coming up and moving. A few days ago, it was moving across into Gwinnett County, which is a couple of counties over. Then into DeKalb, into Atlanta proper. Some people have, news reports that said that people were experiencing some issues in McDonough, Georgia, all around. So with that being said, how dangerous is it? Well, if they don't want you outside, today I used a respirator instead of a particle mask. I do have some N95s, true N95s, but that was not enough. And I had some errands to run, and I happened to be near the area, which is only about 6.5, 7 miles from my home. And I needed to go in that direction, not quite totally there. But so I decided, well, let me throw on this respirator, made sure everything was tight and sealed, and drove on the interstate because I was going just one exit up from there, and decided to snap a few photos as to what I witnessed for my own self. So when people tell you that, oh, everything is okay, it's not that big of a deal, well, the hell it is. Yes, it is. It's still going. Things are still happening. You can still smell it, and it's still pretty bad, y'all. It's pretty bad. So I'm just bringing it to you firsthand account, what I witnessed for my own self. And because, unfortunately, they have not released the data totally yet, and I'm not sure if the public will ever be privy to the collected data from GEMA, from FEMA, from the EPA, and from other powers that be. But I know that it is dangerous. And now we have law firms that are jumping on the bandwagon, of course, when there are class action lawsuits. These firms garner a whole bunch of money really fast, quickly, to handle large catastrophic cases like this. But the citizens who are injured and the properties that have been damaged and what have you, debris that has fallen, and you have to have that removed ever so strategically and surgically, basically. That is money that you're out of pocket, and it will take years for a class action lawsuit of this magnitude to come to fruition. So yes, they're going to reap more of the benefits than any citizen like myself here in Rockdale County. And it's very unfortunate that BioLab has had so many warnings, so many instances where they have had fires before. In 2004, there was a huge fire, and they didn't settle with those folks. I wasn't here. I came a couple of years later into the state of Georgia and settled in Rockdale County in Conyers. But I say that to say this: it took years to settle that class action lawsuit. Hell. And there were multiple firms that were partnering together to bring the lawsuit against BioLabs. But they have had, in the last 7 years, I know for a fact, at least 3 or 4 more instances where they were fined heavily, where they had chemicals released into the atmosphere, into the air, surrounding area. It's just been an ongoing mess, and I am really surprised at the fact that they have still been allowed all this time to remain in business. So to me, that tells me somebody, and some of the powers that be here in the city and in this state, have been basically probably bought off. Now, this is my opinion, so that they could stay in business. But it's time for them to cease operations. It truly is. Today, one of the errands that I was on, I needed to take some packages over to my main post office located in Conyers. We have two. We have one in Old Town Conyers, and we have our main one that's a little bit further up into the actual main thoroughfare, which is off of Highway 138 and Old McDonald Road. And I get to the post office shortly about 3:45 p.m. this yesterday afternoon. Post office normally closes at 5, and this is what I see on the door. Due to unfortunate circumstances, Conyers main post office will be closing at 3:30 today. Our Old Town station is open, and the Covington post office on Stallings Street is also open. Well, Covington, from where I was at that main post office front door, was about 11 3/4 miles away. And the Old Town Conyers station was near to the Biolabs plant, where all of this mess and all of the chemicals were still bellowing out of the facility. So I decided go ahead in, because I print my labels for my packages and what have you at my home, and I was still able to deposit them in the package bin inside of the facility. Now, hopefully they left the facility this evening whenever the 18-wheelers were loaded with the mail to go and take it further. If it needed to be flown to its destination, or it goes by truck or whatever, I don't know. I don't care. I just needed my packages to leave. But this was what I was met with, and I had planned on going to the counter. I had 2 questions to ask, as well as I wanted to purchase a book of stamps. I would have used the outside kiosk in the lobby of the post office. However, the kiosk was down. It was down. So I couldn't even use that. So now I have to make another trip on a different day to transact my business that I had planned on doing today. Whether this is a direct correlation from Biolab chemical fire, I'm not sure. Maybe they didn't have enough personnel, because lately the post offices are suffering from manpower. And I don't know. But a lot of businesses were closing, have been closing early, and some have not been opening at all. So then I drive down the street to Harbor Freight, because I needed to pick up some small button size magnets for a project that I am working on. Well, I get over to Harbor Freight and park, and I'm like, well, wow, I must have caught them right, on time. I mean, the parking lot only had a very few cars, maybe 4 or 5, but actually it was for some other businesses in that shopping center. I get to the door of the Harbor Freight, and why did the Harbor Freight close like at 5:30? So on the front door of the Harbor Freight says, what does it say? Let me blow this up for you and for me, so I can read it back to you. It says, due to the evacuation, store hours have temporarily changed from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sorry for the inconvenience. Well, I was sorry too, because I was very inconvenienced, because I had gone there since I couldn't do what I needed to do to complete my task over at the post office. I decided to go down the road to the Harbor Freight to pick up the magnets, and couldn't do that. So that was another inconvenience for today. Then was when I decided to go up the road a bit to pick up a couple things at one of my stores that I like to shop at every couple of months to see, I'll peep in to see, since I was out, I said, oh, let me go over there and see what they got, because each time you go, it's something a little different. They have different things, different bargains, and sometimes I walk out with nothing, but I thought I'd, go over while I was, trying to kind of get myself some shopping therapy, trying to ease my mind, there's so much going on. So anyway, I jump on the interstate, and I am facing west, going down I-20. And in the foreground, as you can probably see, that large amount of low cloud is not a cloud. That is actually from the biolab chemicals still bellowing out that building, out of that site, and coming across the highway and into neighborhoods and over the Interstate 20. Literally smelled like hydrochloric acid. I don't know if some of you have ever smelled that before, because it's used to etch concrete and clean bricks and different things. Or if you have a pool or have been near where they are shocking a swimming pool or cleaning pools, oh my God, the chlorine, the smell was really hard. Not necessarily on me because I was wearing a respirator, but I did not have goggles over my glasses because that would have kind of gotten them out of focus, and I was driving. So I didn't want to put goggles on, but I should have used a face shield. It was unbelievable. Now, this is with my windows rolled up. However, going west, coming up on, getting ready to pass on the left side of the back of the building, because the bulk of the chemical fire was on the Old Covington Highway side, not the interstate side. But that's what you saw, and that's what I was headed into, going under that big smog or big old bellow of smoke and chemicals going across that interstate. Now I'm a little bit further in, still going forward, going west to the next two exits past the Sigmund Road exit, and this is what I'm encountering. A little bit of a break, and then deeply, as you can see forward in this picture, it gets really, really hazy and you could barely see. It's really sad, but that's what we're dealing with here in Conyers. I want to say, for all of my listening audience and the people who happen in on this video when it finishes rendering and uploading to YouTube, to please say a prayer, because it's about 85 to 90,000 people here located in the Rockdale County area that reside here, that work here, and what have you, including myself, as well as there were portions of Georgia, several counties in Georgia that was hit by Hurricane Helena, and they didn't fare out so well. My heart goes out and prayers go out to the people in Tennessee, the people in the Carolinas, the people in Florida, and surrounding areas that sustained damages. There were lives lost, and there are people who are unaccounted for, y'all, from Hurricane Helena. So with that being said, please lift those people up in prayer, and hopefully that they can find their loved ones, or the people who are missing or found safe. Maybe they evacuated and they just don't have phone services. Some roads have been washed completely out. It's just a lot going on. Then we have Iran doing a missile attack on Israel. We have this chemical, fire let loose on nearly 100,000 people. We have the hurricane aftermath. We have several disturbances out in the Atlantic that may form, that may become hurricanes, may become tropical storms and what have you. Um, it's just a lot. Plus, we are less than 40 days away, about 35, 34 days, maybe 33 by now, away from the presidential election. There's just a lot going on. And add into that, you guys, briefly, the Longshoremen's East Coast strike that is taking place. And if you don't know, I'm going to let you know that everything that we basically use and purchase comes, most of the times, even cars, trucks and what have you, parts, clothes, fruit, groceries, you name it, plastics, electronics, come by way of ship into the ports, and then they are trucked on to their destinations. And some are loaded on rail cars. But the majority of our items we get via cargo ships. And the longshoremen, basically the dock workers and what have you, those are dangerous jobs, but they do the work and they ensure that those products get to us, the consumer, the people who purchase them. So they are out on strike, and it's going to be quite interesting because it's each day that they are on strike basically backs up whatever ports that are on strike, which is about 35 of them right now. It puts them behind about 3.5, nearly 4 days for every 1 day that they're out on the picket line. So within a week or two, if this continues, the consumers will start to feel some of the impacts that this is going to cause during the time that they're out on strike and trying to negotiate and go back to the bargaining table and renegotiate that contract and try to get those workers back at work. So we are facing some issues that I'm not sure how it's going to affect the upcoming presidential election, but I will say that it could possibly affect us, the consumer, because we purchase things. We purchase groceries. We purchase vehicles. We purchase parts for our vehicles. We purchase tires. We purchase clothing. We purchase electronics. We have the holidays. We are already in the fourth quarter of the year, the last quarter of this year. We are already in since October the 1st. So there's a lot to be said. There's a lot to think about. But moving forward, I just wanted to come on and let you guys and gals, boys and girls know what's going on in Conyers, Georgia, Rockdale County, where I reside. And it's pretty bad. You know, I'm really appalled at how this company, which I have voiced my opinions at the council meetings and stuff in previous years about this company. But yet they refuse to close them down and refuse to run them out of town. And now look where we are. Look what's going on. And it's costing people, you know, some people aren't working. Abruptly, their work came to a halt. Some people have been kind of sick. I know when I woke up this past Monday, my throat was a little raspy. You know, felt like it, you know, I had ingested something, and that was inside. So, you know, I can only imagine a construction worker, people who are working outside. I haven't really seen a lot of people. I haven't really seen a lot of landscapers. Yeah, so it's it's a lot. So with that being said, I'm going to end it here, but I just wanted to come on and share some things with the world from my point of view and from what I am witnessing and going through right now, currently in the area that I reside in Conyers, Georgia, and what has happened is this fire is due to the company named Biolab Chemical, and it's Biolab Chemical Dump is what I'm saying. And these photos were taken on 10/2/2024. That's the year that we are in. As I scroll back through some of the photos, again, like I said, I went to Harbor Freight. I went to go to the damn post office. They were closed. So, I mean, it's just a lot, y'all. It's just an awful lot that's going on right now. I am going to end here. I thank you for tuning in. You have been listening to Saving Money Unapologetically with your host, PG. That is me. Remember, each one, teach one. Be kind to one another. We can all use a little bit of kindness here in the world and in our nation. If you're tuning in, thank you. If you are a new subscriber, thank you for subscribing. If you are one of my people from day one, please do me a favor. Hit that bell notification and the thumbs up button for me. Like, comment, and share this vlog podcast. Send it out to whomever. Help me out so that I can continue to help you and to bring this content to you. Thank you. And you all have a good rest of your evening, good morning, good day. Bye now.